Okay, in each of these, we're going to sketch the graph, identify the domain range, and the y-intercept. Number one, we're going to sketch the graph of f of x equals 2 to the negative x power plus 1. We're going to first, and with all of these, first look at the parent function, f of x equals 2 to the x. And I'm going to make a table, and I'm going to do this every time. And I'm going to just worry about -1, 0, 1, and 2. And those four values should be enough. -2 is a nice one to have too, but I think we're fine with this. So 2 to the negative first power is going to be 1/2. 2 to the 0 power is 1. 2 to the first power is 2. And 2 squared is 4. Right, there's our parent function. So now I have to look at what the transformations are that are taking place, x and y. So the first one here, I see we have this negative x. That means we have a reflection over the y-axis, which means that we're flipping all of our x values. So -1 becomes 1, 0 stays 0, 1 becomes -1, and 2 becomes -2. All right. The next thing I see is that I have this plus 1, and that's we're adding 1 to our entire function, to our f of x, so our output. And that means our y values are going to change. We're going to add 1 to all of our, in fact, I'll do this here. We're going to add 1. And what we already did, we already flipped it, which basically meant we multiplied it by -1. That's how we flipped the sign. All right, we'll come up here, and we'll just add 1 to all of our y values. So we have 1.5, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 5. I'll come over here, I will graph those points. So 1 and 1.5, 0 and 2, and -1 and 3, 1, 2, 3, and -2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have it here. Now, in our parent function, our asymptote is y equals 0. In this case, because we raised our entire graph up 1, we have a new asymptote, which is y equals 1. Y equals 1. And so our graph is now coming down here and hit these points, and it's going to keep getting closer and closer to our asymptote, never touch it, and it's going to keep going up here forever and ever and ever. All right, so there's our graph. Our domain, which is our x values, would just be -infinity to infinity. Our range, which would be our y values. Okay, our lower limit is going to be 1, right? And then everything above 1, so to infinity. Since our asymptote is at y equals 1, everything above that. I also wanted our y-intercept. Our y-intercept would be this point here, and so the y-intercept is the point 0, 2, right here. Okay? So let's take a look at number 2, where we have another function. Same thing. I'm going to do my f of x equals 2 to the x power. I just strongly encourage you always do your parent. So again, -1, 0, 1, 2, 1/2, 1, 2, and 4. And we'll do this one in blue. X and y. So what do we have going? I'm going to look at my x here first. So this is x minus 3, which means our entire graph is going to shift to the right 3 units. So to shift all my x values 3 units to the right, I'm going to actually add 3 to all my x values, plus 3. And so let's do that. We'll go -1 plus 3 is 2, 0 plus 3 is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So there's my new x values. That's my horizontal transformation, was to shift everything to the right, and that's all I have. For my vertical transformation, all I have right here is this reflection. This says we're taking this is negative f of x. Okay, so we're taking our entire function, our output and we're just going to flip those signs. So again, I would take my y values over here, and I basically multiply -1. That flips all the signs from the parent function. So I have a 1/2 here. This is now -1/2, -1, -2, and -4. Come over here, go to 2 and -3 is -1, 4 is -2, and 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. My asymptote is still y equals 0, right? It didn't move, my graph didn't move up or down at all. All it did is moved, it reflected and moved to the right 3 places. So this comes here, all my points, and on down. So again, it wants my domain. Okay, well, my domain is going to, again, because all my x values here and here, so my domain is -infinity, -infinity to infinity. My range is, let's see, my upper is at 0, and it's everything less than 0, so it's going to be -infinity to 0. I'd ask about my y-intercept. Y-intercept. Well, let's see, I didn't plug, let's see, I did this to 2 because everything shifted over, so I guess I need to figure out kind of what is if f of x equals -2, 0 minus 3. So this is going to be -2 to -3 power. Well, that's going to, what do we have over 1 over -2/3. That's negative, what is that, 1/8? So my y-intercept would be 0 and -1/8 would be, y-intercept. Okay, there's 1 and 2.